Alrighty, welcome to the April Engage. My name is Matt Solomon, co-founder of Channel Program, and you may be seeing a new face. We're trying to shake things up this month. Steve, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hello, everybody. I am Steve Taylor. I'm the channel content producer here at Channel Program. You may know me as Steve from RocketMSP. I'm so excited to let you guys know that RocketMSP is now part of Channel Program.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so we've got lots of new people joining us today, probably. So I'm going to go over kind of what to expect from the day, some just general logistics, and then we'll dive right into the fun. So again, this is your opportunity as an MSP to anonymously influence the channel through feedback. Each vendor will actually have 7-minute pitches. And the intention is really to help you understand the problem they're solving, what their channel program looks like. And it's your opportunity to give direct feedback in these polls. And again, it is anonymous feedback. There is a 6th question that if you choose to engage and give up your anonymity, you're saying you'd like to participate in the demo or you'd like more information from the vendor, that is your choice. We're providing you that safe environment to make that choice for yourself. There will also be breakout sessions after all of the pitches have taken place. Basically, your screen will change at the snap of a finger, and you'll be able to log into the different breakout sessions, speak with the people that have presented, and maybe a few other people from the team. And you can bounce around for multiple vendors, so you can go into different breakouts. A couple notes in the chat function. So in the moderator chat, you will only be chatting with our producer backstage. Moderators, attendees, and vendors cannot see your chat. And the public chat is for MSPs only. Also, please keep an eye out for some broadcast messages. In between sessions, we'll be talking about some things happening in the industry and may provide you all some links. Again, after each pitch, you'll have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to fill out those polls. And at the very end, we'll do some poll questions. One particular one is who you thought delivered the best pitch or best presentation, however you want to look at it. There's going to be one poll that we're going to put out right now. We do this thing. Actually, Steve, why don't you talk about channel meetings since you're the one who hosts them?
Yeah, absolutely. So channel meetings are really cool. They're an opportunity for you to get into a room with a vendor and you just talk. I mean, sometimes they'll have slides, sometimes it'll just be a conversation, and it's designed to be a focus group. So the vendors are there because they want to hear your real unfiltered opinions. And I know sometimes MSPs are very opinionated. So if you have opinions, you should come be on a channel meeting.
Yeah, and we do provide you with a $100 gift card for your time.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had hundreds of MSPs participate in this, and I think the poll is up. It's a simple yes or no if you'd be interested in participating in those. But they are a great way to give back to the community, and in some cases, as you all know, if you've ever gotten in on a vendor when they're first emerging and kind of those early stages, you often get access to deals and opportunities that will no longer exist a year from now. So it's definitely a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. So I think why don't we just get started and jump in, and I'll let you do the first introduction of the day.
Absolutely. So first up is Nakul Nayak from Enable. He is the Principal Enterprise Account Executive, and he has over a decade of experience. Nakul specializes in major accounts and MSP growth strategy. He also serves as an advisory board member for a startup in Toronto. Welcome, Nakul.
Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated. Awesome. Can we get started?
Yep, go ahead. Stage is yours.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining and thanks for the opportunity. My name is Nakul Nayak, as Steve mentioned, and I am the Principal Growth Strategist here at Enable. It's a fancy term for a biz dev person, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our newest offering to the market, which is Enable MDR. So let's start off with just some challenges that we see in the space. And this applies to both MSPs and MSSPs. Number one, we're seeing a big talent shortage. I think everyone understands this, right? There's a lack of skilled professionals in the cybersecurity field, and there doesn't seem to be too many improvements in sight. Number two, we're seeing the increase in cyber threats. I think, some of the data points we've pulled is we see about 20 ransomware attempts every second, increased zero-day threats, and we're starting to see these rogue IoT devices with infected applications. And of course, managing your customers' networks almost seems impossible these days. Finally, we're also seeing quality and speed, right? So security teams are underwater with the sheer volume of threat incidents, and this results in severe alert fatigue, which impacts a key KPI, which is MTTR, or mean time to respond to these incidents. Finally, increasing compliance demands. I know everyone on this call has this issue. Your clients and yourselves must comply with a variety of regulations to protect sensitive data and avoid, significant fines and or loss of business. Now, with all of these challenges, MSPs today are being driven to use multiple different products and vendors to address some of these, which actually drives up the cost of security and slows down that MTTR, that mean time to respond. Now, I want to walk you through a very, very quick example of a ransomware attack. This was the Cozy Bear ransomware attack, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. In short, started off with a malicious email, like most of them do. That created a user clicking on that malicious email, which often is the source. From there, a PowerShell query was called. And then all of a sudden, the device has malware installed. They got access to the payload server. And the attack begins to touch all layers, sometimes more than once, right? So you guys have seen this. To prevent something like Cozy Bear, we preach MSPs need to have a layered security approach, right? This means you need to have protection at multiple layers. And here's the thing. There's a bunch of layers here. I'm not going to go through everything. But in an ideal world, you want those layers to integrate with an MDR offering, right? And that MDR service should integrate with your endpoint software, your firewalls, your identity provider, your cloud services, your mail security provider, anything that provides telemetry, it should integrate with. Now, while standardization is always great when it comes to these tool sets and these vendor sets, we know your customer environments can be different, especially when it comes to co-managed scenarios, which is a great opportunity for the category. While you may want to have the same vendors across your customer base, as mentioned before, this is difficult to hold true in most cases. And that's why a vendor-agnostic MDR is critical to provide consistent, efficient, and strong protection across your customer base. Now, let's talk about Enable MDR, and let's talk about some of the value propositions with it. Number one, we are endpoint and firewall and hardware and identity agnostic. It does not matter which vendor or which tool you use, right? And we collect telemetry across this agnostic spectrum from network, from cloud, from endpoints, from identity, from remote access, from security, and anything that provides a syslog output. From there, we actually ingest all of that data and we correlate all that telemetry and we begin to aggregate and eliminate false positives. From there, we enrich that data set. Now, this is super important. That enrichment includes a human-led threat intel team, right? These are real people. These are real security experts. It includes dark web monitoring. We have some very advanced user entity and behavioral analytics. And the end outcome is we have an enriched data set on that telemetry we're collecting. That's where the threat hunting team gets involved. Again, this is a human-led and AI-powered threat hunting team, 24/7. We investigate abnormal alerts and abnormal activity. There, we have our SOAR actions. Now, something I forgot to mention at the very beginning, Enable MDR is a SIM, a SOAR, and a SOC all in one. It's combined. And when we talk about containment, we talk about the actual SOAR actions. So very obvious things like isolating, powering on off reboot devices, disabling accounts, resetting credentials. So a lot of this is automated. But for the pieces that are not automated, that's where our SOC team gets involved. And we have a full remediation capability. So we talk about the concept of big R versus little r, right? So let's assume a simple example. It's Christmas Day. It's 12 a.m. at night. One of your clients gets hit with ransomware. A lot of providers out there will notify you that this incident has happened, and there's a series of steps you need to take. With Enable MDR, we remediate to full completion. You don't have to get involved. You get the after action report once that happens. Now, speaking of reporting, one of our strengths is reporting. We have 50 out of the box reports, including my favorite, which is one-touch compliance reporting. So pick your favorite four-letter compliance framework, CMMC, HIPAA. We can help you create those compliance reports with one touch. And a lot of our partners have actually created compliance as a service offerings using this one touch reporting. Now, I've gone through the steps involved with Enable MDR, but probably the most important question is why are we different from everyone else out there outside of that agnostic approach I talked about, right? Here's the key. we were built software first, not service first. So when you look at the MDR market, a lot of providers provided that service, and that software came in behind. However, because we were software first, the technology second to none when it comes to transparency, when it comes to visibility, and when it comes to access. What does that mean? It means you as the MSP and your team are seeing what our SOC sees in real time. There is no black box. There is no hidden information. You're seeing absolutely everything in real time. Now, a couple quick items here. We are offering a promotion to the folks here. It's rare that MDR providers provide you a trial that includes the humans. In this scenario, we are. So a 30-day unpaid trial of the full MDR service, SIM, SOAR, SOC. And for anybody that does make a purchase of Enable MDR, we also throw in about 20 MDR licenses on an annual basis. So my name is Nicole Nyack. My contact information is on the screen. Thank you so much for the opportunity, everyone, and I look forward to the Q&A.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. So let's get Steve. Why don't you join me back up here? And there should be a poll going up. So that'll be your first poll of the day, first official poll of the day from the vendor side. And again, if you're a non-MSP, you won't be seeing that poll. It's just meant for the MSPs. And I should definitely mention, we are offering a $15 gift card to all the MSPs who participate in all the polls today. So just a little bit of a reward for your feedback to the vendors. All right, Steve. So first one, how are we doing so far?
I think we're doing great, man.
Right.
I think Nicole did great too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I see we've got over 80 people live at the event already. So one of the things, I'm going to do a little teaser here. We're going to have a guest speaking about a really awesome conference coming up here in the next break. But there's a lot of MSP events going on in May. It's beyond just webinars. And I would encourage everyone to use our industry calendar because we do have a breakdown of everything. And there's almost too many events happening to go over them all. Obviously, there's a big one next week with Kaseya Connect in Las Vegas, and they've been promoting obviously a major announcement. It's kind of been all over the news. But God, Axient's doing roadshows, Sophos is doing roadshows, Barracuda MSP is doing roadshows, Dell's got their big conference, MSP GeekCon. Channel Pro is doing something in Baltimore. ASCII's doing an event. We're doing an event actually for the first time, which we'll talk about later. But Steve, you're going to be joining me at a 7-figure MSP in Indianapolis. Is it your first one in several years that you've been at?
Yeah, I think my last one I went to was Autotask Live in 2017.
Oh wow!
So it's been a minute since I've been to a show. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm really looking forward to getting back out there and meeting with people in person.
Yeah. I'll also be attending. Jennifer Bleem has it's called the Ultimate IT Growth Conference in Dallas. So I'll be jumping from that one to the one in Indianapolis. But yeah, and of course next week at Kaseya, which just makes for it's a lot of travel. But obviously lots of opportunities for MSPs to continue to educate themselves and hopefully grow their businesses. And I was thinking back, Steve, I feel like the first time we met may have been, obviously back in the ID agent days, maybe a Columbus ASCII event.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I think probably back in 2017 or so. So
yeah, I probably have been to an ASCII event since that Autotask one, but
yeah,
I don't know why I don't count the ASCII ones. Maybe it's because they're like smaller, more local, regional type of events. And
so you're talking about the bigger one.
Huge,
Yeah, definitely different types of events for sure. All right, so let's looks like the polls are down. We're ready to jump to the next speaker, who I've had the privilege of getting to know, Mr. Jeff Hardy, manager of global service provider solutions at Acronis. He's a seasoned leader in technology and marketing with diverse experience across, is it EF Data Corporation, Honeywell, ClearChoice, Smarter Tools, Manage.com. I mean, this guy's been everywhere.
I've been everywhere. I've done everything. And real quick, your special guest at the end, a special event, we're going to have a booth there. So if you're going to his event, make sure you stop by the Acronis booth.
There you go. All right, Steve, or Jeff, excuse me. The floor is yours.
Great. Let me tell you this. All right. So I have a little bit of a different message for you guys today. All right. So my message starts out with, don't be this guy. All right. What does it mean? If you're trying to build your business, it can be a frustrating experience. If you're trying to layer security offerings, it can be a terribly frustrating experience, but it doesn't have to be. My message is build your MSP business on security and love every minute of it. Okay, maybe you're not going to love every single minute of it, but you get the idea. I am Jeff Hardy. I'm the manager of Global Service Provider Solutions for Acronis. So let me start you off with a quote. Seth Godin, he's kind of famous in IT circles. There is no shortage of remarkable ideas. What's missing is the will to execute them. So I want to introduce you to one remarkable idea for MSPs, and that is everyone needs security. You just heard Enable talking about it. I believe this too. Everybody needs security. Everybody, literally everybody. Why does everybody need security? First, every technology everywhere. Doesn't matter the platform on your Windows, Linux, Oracle. Doesn't matter what tech stack you have. Doesn't matter where your clients are located or where you're located. Doesn't matter what industry segment you're in. Everybody needs security. The next thing is cyber threats are a continuum. The cyber criminals are continuously, maliciously innovating. We're innovating on the good guy side. They're innovating on the bad guy side. So the number and kinds of devices also that you're protecting and your clients are using, they proliferate. They're going off more and more every single day. And there's new malware variants every single day. It's a continuum. It never stops. So what does that mean? That means that security is strongly resistant to commoditization. Devices come and go. They become obsolete. Hardware can become easily commoditized. Software alone, just selling software licenses, as good a business as that can be, it's lower margin, and it doesn't differentiate you. Security doesn't have time to be commodity. In addition, you've heard this before, security requirements and regulations and compliance from NIST 2 here in NAM that just coming out to the NIS 2 in the EU, to the Australia's Essential 8, Singapore Cybersecurity Act, even the new renewals your clients are getting from their cyber insurance, they all are aligned with cybersecurity being a core. It goes on and on and on. All right. So what does all that mean? That means that if you can build your business on security, your market, your total addressable market is literally every single business everywhere. There's almost no other type of business that you can get into that has a universal addressable market. So that makes security the best business to be in tech. MSPs, in my opinion, can and should build their businesses on security. But at the very least, understand your clients are going to expect and assume that security is already included. So not only do you have all those needs and wants, but you have that expectation from your customers as well. Now, second quote I want you to think about. In a busy marketplace, this is also from Seth Godin, in a busy marketplace, not standing out is the same thing as being invisible. That's a powerful quote. So how do you stand out? Well, you don't just position yourself as a provider of products and services. You become more. You become a partner in security. You actually craft your offerings that with a partnership mentality. I'm going to give you two quick examples of how you can do that. Right. The first, I'm going to use a Microsoft example. Now, Acronis is a top 5 provider of Azure backup solution, and it's been independently, analysts have said we're a top 5 provider of M365 backup solutions, all that stuff too. But let me show you how you layer these things on top of it. The first is maybe your clients already have M365 licenses. If not, you resell the license. But license sales alone are commoditized. They got low margins. They got no differentiation, and its customers easily churn. Microsoft actually wants you to take and build services on top of it. So you build your packages on the M365 stack. You add higher margin services. You add advanced email security on top of it. Then maybe you add advanced collaboration security for Teams and for OneDrive. Then you protect the entire device with advanced security with EDR, MDR, XDR. You just keep stacking that up, and you build offers that let customers self-select the layer of protection that they want. And again, the more products you have them buy, the more loyalty, the more margin, more top-line revenue, and lower risk of churn. Same thing if you started your business in the device and refresh and support services, right? You start with that. But on top of that, every single device, the first layer is backup. And like we say at Acronis, we have integrated native backup in all of our security solutions. It's how we got our start. Then you protect the device with advanced security plus EDR, MDR, XDR. Then you can, if they're data sensitive, you can add DLP, data loss prevention, on top of it. Step by step, layer by layer, you help your clients by helping them grow their security protection while growing your business on top of it. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I do all that, I'm going to have a dozen apps and a dozen agents and a bunch of consoles, and my team's going to be caught up in training and doing updates forever. That's not true. By building security services, you do not have to make your life more complicated. You can still be this happy guy, right? So what does it mean to be a happy guy? You build your security offers that build. We just showed you 2 examples of that. There's many more. You consolidate and standardize solutions. You automate as much as you can, and then you repeat. Let me show you what that looks like in a Acronis perspective. Again, natively integrated, highly efficient security built for MSPs. The entire wing is covered from ease of use, single agent, single console, single policy. The angel just got his wings. I heard a ring. Operational efficiency. You get to mass manage it in multi-tenant environments, a true multi-tenant native solution, and you get to have an integration platform. Heck, we're integrated with a lot of people who are giving presentations on this call with me today. But any solution that you have, we're probably already integrated on it. And if not, we'll be happy to help you out with that. So simply stated, security is the best way to consistently build your MSP business. Acronis can help you execute on that one remarkable idea. You don't have to be this guy. And you know what that means? You can start by talking to this guy. This is Stephen Nichols. We have this virtual breakout room. Stephen is a smart guy. Been in this business longer than I have, and he's your wingman for MSP success. So go to the virtual breakout room, talk to Stephen. He's going to help you out. And guys, I think that's it for me.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeff. All right. So the polls should be going up. Steve, why don't you join me?
Wow. I've always thought of Acronis as a backup company. I didn't realize they do so much more.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Doing all kinds of things. All right, so without further ado, I am going to bring up our guest speaker if he's around. All right, there he is. He's the most famous bank teller or former bank teller in our industry, I think, right? Former bank teller, Rob?
Former bank teller. I don't know about the most famous. I mean, I don't know anybody else that was a bank teller.
That's what I'm saying. Most famous in the MSP space. So
fair. I was 15 at the time, so it was like a dog's age ago, but I was still fairly young when I did it. So
yeah. Well, so Rob, you're here to talk about PAX 8's Beyond. It's the second version of this event, and yeah, we wanted to, we have definitely some questions, but just give you the stage in general to tell everybody what PAX 8 Beyond is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy to be here and the opportunity to talk about it. So thank you, Matt. So what is PAX 8 Beyond? Well, I mean, it's a user conference, right? It's not only just for PAX 8 partners, but for all MSPs. And for those of you that know me, I've done a lot of these conferences over the course of a number of years. I'm very, very conscientious of both what the MSP's expectations are from these actual conferences, as well as what vendors are expecting from them, and then just try to create a great environment where everybody can kind of learn and grow and get all the updates that are necessary. And as most of these vendors have talked about, even the ones that are on the calls today, they're all going to be at this conference as well. So it's a great opportunity to engage with 100+ vendors and get some good education. We got 5 different personas set up. So we have education based on whoever it is that you send: sales and marketing, business owner, sales manager, cybersecurity, whoever, technical, of course. So whatever persona you're sending, whoever the individuals are, it's 1,500 MSPs. We're actually very close to selling out. I probably only have about 100 seats left. It's June 9th through the 11th in Denver, Colorado, and promises to be a good time.
Excellent. I know, Steve, you had a question you wanted to ask.
Yeah, there's a lot of busy MSPs out there that maybe they can only attend one conference a year. So why should it be PAX 8 Beyond?
Yeah, that's it. It's a good question. It's actually one I get a lot, Steve, especially because and we know this, there's an event every single week in our space these days. Like for me, I'm actually in my home office, which is very, very odd. Why? Whenever an MSP asks me, or if you're on a tight budget or you want a certain amount of time out of the office, take a look at what you do and where you spend your money in your stack. And I would suggest that, the companies that you're most invested in, and a lot of those tend to be marketplaces and distributors such as Pax8, are probably the better places to go and see what are they spending your money on? What's the innovation? How, all those types of things. So if you're fairly limited and only have a few choices, that's kind of what I usually recommend to MSPs.
Excellent. So Rob, I know you're going to be joining us for another break here coming up next.
Sure.
So I've definitely got a couple other questions I'd like to ask you about the event, and we'll also, in the meanwhile, put up the reg link here shortly.
Awesome.
So if people want to take advantage of that, we'll
Yep.
get them. We'll get them there. All right. We'll see you in a
Steve,
bit.
by the way, congratulations on joining the channel program. It was good to see that.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Rob. All right. So Steve, why don't you go ahead and do the next introduction?
You got it. Our third vendor to present at Channel Engage is Joe Saunders, the Channel Partner Manager at Perimeter 81. They are a leading provider of secure network access solutions in Denver. They've got over a decade of cybersecurity experience, and Joe previously led security solutions teams at Pax8 for nearly 9 years. Dedicated to building partnerships and delivering top-notch service, Joe drives Perimeter 81's channel initiatives with expertise. Welcome, Joe.
Welcome. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining here today and taking a look at Perimeter 81. A couple quick things I wanted to start out with. Perimeter 81 is now a part of Checkpoint. So you will see the branding out there, Checkpoint Harmony SASE. So just wanted to clear that up with some of you, as we've just launched with a few different cloud marketplaces like Pax8 and Ingram Micro Marketplace in the previous years. We are now Checkpoint SASE. So quick background introduction on me. As mentioned, I was previously with Pax8, helping run their channel for the past 9 years. And recently I came over to Perimeter 81 and Checkpoint to help build out the distribution channel. So I'm happy to connect with partners, talk about the solution offline. We will also be at Pax8 Beyond. We're really excited about the event that Rob's putting on, and come by and talk to me at the booth if you're going to be at Pax8 Beyond. But happy to connect, and we will be having a follow-up session shortly after the presentations today. So to get into what we're doing, I'm very, very excited because after spending the last 17 years at various different private and public companies in the channel, I've basically sold the entire stack to the MSPs. So all the products that we've been selling the last 20 years or so. And really this new phenomenon of SASE has become quite popular in the last 4 to 5 years, particularly once COVID hit. Everybody started to work from home, and it created a really big problem for IT administrators and end users, because the IT administrators had to figure out how to deliver security to users that are now not behind the corporate firewall and working from home. So this solution really has become a pretty household name, and it stands for Secure Access Service Edge. Now we're securing the edge, which has become the internet. The internet now is the corporate backbone with the emergence of cloud applications and hybrid infrastructure, where there's resources on premise and resources in the cloud. We need a singular way to access these resources and provide a better end user experience compared to the legacy ways of doing this with VPNs, which can really typically have a lot of tickets that it can create for IT administrators, and a lot of dropped connections and lost productivity for the end users trying to connect from these VPNs variously from places around the world. So what we're getting into with SASE, it combines a few networking concepts. It's got an advanced VPN, a firewall, a web gateway built in, application protection, and zero trust network access, all backed by a private backbone that we'll get into, that gives you, I would say, a private connection, because we're purchasing these private circuits and giving you private IP addresses that you'll own to whitelist your infrastructure and cloud applications to make sure your users are securely connected and encrypted to the network end to end from our application here. So a couple of the ideal client profiles. I will say, for anybody who has regulatory compliance, this is a great solution. They've got requirements to encrypt traffic back to the network, to use a VPN. We've built out some frameworks that I can share with everybody on how we've mapped to the CIS controls We're ISO 27001 certified, SOC 2 certified. So we typically find a lot of regulated industries, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, legal, a lot of insurance, a lot of these types of organizations will need a solution like us. But really, it's everybody today. Anybody who's got valuable intellectual property or IP that wants to protect their workers, because in most cases today, everybody's protecting the endpoint, but most folks aren't protecting the network. And that's really where we come in with Wi-Fi protection and an always-on Wi-Fi security that's built into our VPN solution. So all of our assets are hosted into a private cloud. Like I mentioned, we'll give you a private IP address and give you a private network, which is going to secure access to all of those cloud-based applications. So for customers that do have hybrid clouds, on-premise infrastructure, or the public cloud, this is an ideal type of solution for providing that access. We provide all the bandwidth included. It could even be a direct connect into Google, AWS, or Azure Cloud. And really the ideal customer profile, typically now with the Checkpoint acquisition and our SD-WAN integrations with the firewall and the SD-WAN and some of the other security solutions, we're servicing large enterprises, but our ideal customer truly is an SMB customer. So typically that 1 to 500 user range customer is typically our sweet spot. And this is where we can really save IT administrators a lot of time and money. So when selling this solution, we can really save a lot of support hours and deliver a better end user experience. And from a security standpoint, like I was mentioning, what we're doing is we're helping protect those users with our advanced VPN client, connecting from various different places, preventing them from connecting to fake and malicious Wi-Fi networks and getting their tokens stolen. We're reducing hardware by potentially getting rid of some of the branch locations, firewalls, and having all of that traffic routed through the cloud through a SASE solution back to the headquarters or the primary network. And performance, we'll talk about the backbone. We've got a VPN that is backed by about 72 POPs worldwide, so users can connect into the highest POP, and then we've got these private circuits that will give users prioritized routing and a secure encrypted connection that they're not sharing with anybody else or any other customers. So coming up in about 6 minutes here, so I want to breeze through the next couple of slides here. So how we're solving them is zero trust network security. So we're integrating the identity management into the VPN so users have a seamless single sign-on experience. We check the device for your security certificates and your security software to make sure that only secure devices are connecting into the network. And then we have a firewall in the cloud, and we're delegating access based upon those firewall policies to the correct network resources to really provide that zero trust network capability. I mentioned our global POPs. And one of the other thing is we have a very, very fast deployment. So MSPs and service providers have one pane of glass for multi-tenancy, and you can build out and create a network in as little as 15 minutes. And from an architecture standpoint, this is kind of how it looks. We've got agents for the desktop, the mobile device. We've got agentless access for unmanaged devices and contractors that you may not have security running those devices that you don't want to put onto the network. So we can publish these network accesses resources into our network and stream them similar to a virtual desktop experience. But this is the topology of it and how it looks. We're integrating the identity provider into the management console, and then we're checking those devices, and then those users are securely going to authenticate coming from that dedicated IP into the open internet, where we're protecting them with our secure web gateway and providing secure access into the public cloud or those on-premise resources. And that's really how the SASE architecture
I was
looks.
just kind of time to wrap up, if you don't mind.
Okay, so last slide here. So we will be doing another session. So we've got a few partner benefits. Like I mentioned, the multi-tenant platform, free NFR licenses, deal reg. We work with all the common distributors out there. In fact, we just launched with PAX 8 in recent months. So come find me on LinkedIn and contact me anytime. And we appreciate the time today and look forward to meeting some of you MSPs out there in the future. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. All right. I'm going to go ahead and the polls should be up. Rob, I'm going to bring you back up on stage here in a second. And yeah, who knew we'd have such a PAX 8 heavy lineup today? But
love it, absolutely love it.
So Rob, you mentioned kind of the 5 personas. If you don't mind, kind of go over that again, because I think that's always an important question that comes up, is like, should I, as an MSP, depending on my, where I fall, attend this event?
Yeah, and this, this used to happen again, kind of the evolution of conferences. It used to be you were either in sales and marketing or you were technical. And, those two skills tend to be fairly different. So, you would go to a conference and either look for technical content or sales and marketing. But as we've grown and as the MSP space has grown, obviously there's more different personas within MSPs. So we keep adding, and then a lot of the conferences keep adding more and more tracks. So, obviously the sales and marketing folks, how to position this stuff, how to sell this stuff, how to overcome objections, all those types of things. And some of the industry experts, other MSPs that are actually doing this and having success with it. Obviously the technical track is more along the lines of, the techs. But then one of the things I found, especially as the MSP business owners, the CEOs, they like to go to these conferences and stay engaged with everything that's going on. But the content tends to be fairly immature for them, where they've kind of evolved beyond what most conferences are able to offer. So started this a few years ago, where we are giving them actual, like, you're a multi-million-dollar shop. What other content or what other education could you possibly get to the 10 million, 100 million, $500 million, whatever it is. And there's a few of them that are kicking around for sure. Obviously, cybersecurity is massive. So we've spent a lot on the cybersecurity piece. I've got arguably one of the best cybersecurity influencers in the business, with Matt Lee working on my team. So he's running a cybersecurity track with the also equally infamous Andrew Morgan, and lots of great guests, John Strand and Wes and lots of other different folks from the cybersecurity space. All the name brands are going to be there running that track. And then, of course, service managers, making sure that we've got that in between piece as well. So again, just trying to customize content for everybody that's going to be there, so that you have something relevant regardless of what it is that you do, or if you bring multiple people from your company.
Yeah.
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Okay. So, Rob, what's the lesson that you've learned from all these events that you've hosted over the years? Is there anything particular that you've changed because of, what you've learned over the years?
It's a constant evolution, Steve. It really is. And, we do quite a bit of post-event questionnaires, comments, listening to every ounce of feedback. We'll set up a Teams group or Slack group at the conference. So even as the staff are walking around and hearing comments, we're constantly saying, what can we fix now while we're here? What can we fix next year? I think probably the most important thing, Steve, is you don't want to waste your time. Like, well, none of us have any time. We want to make sure that we have enough that we're coming away from these conferences with things to actually, think about, things to actually start acting on. So, for me, quality of content is super important. But at the same time, we also have to have a little bit of fun while we're out there as well. So I'm trying to create an ideally a full-rounded experience, lots of opportunity to learn, lots of opportunity to think and see where things are going, but also have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, last year, and I know we got to go, but last year we had basically a private concert from Nelly. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and yeah, you always seem to outdo yourself there. Rob, thank you again for taking the time. I just looked on the website. It does look like tickets, you can still get they're not technically not early bird, but slightly discounted from $4.99 to $3.99. But sounds like you guys are almost close to selling out. So if you're an MSP, if you're interested, you better probably go buy them today. And Claudia from our team will put the link in the broadcast chat. And Rob, thank you again, and we'll see you in June.
Absolutely. Thanks again for the opportunity, guys.
Of course. Thanks. All right. All right, Steve, why don't you do our next introduction, and we'll keep things moving.
Sure. 1 second here. All right. Our next presenter is Dustin Sitton, principal at Insight Automation.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm going to make a correction there, because Insight Discovery today. And Dustin, you can explain the differences if you want.
I will.
Okay. Well, with background as CTO at Mind Over Machines for 6 years, Dustin brings extensive expertise in automation and technology to his role.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Those who were at this last month were like, wait a minute, didn't we see this guy talking about Insight Automation last month? Well, I love Channel Program. That's why I'm back. Matt, just yesterday, we met a fantastic MSP that discovered us through Channel Program out of Kansas City. We had a fantastic conversation, and there's some confusion there. You know, Insight Automation is our main business, and we work with our MSP partners acting as their software development arm. You know, we help them when they get questions from their clients about SharePoint, Teams, Power Automate, Dynamics, Logic Apps, accounting systems. We give them new ways to profit, you know, on all of these technologies, acting as their software development arm. We've been doing it this way for 6 years. It's been fantastic. And we've made so many great relationships with so many MSPs. Some of them have started to ask us, how do you staff up? How did you find so many amazing people that knows so much about all of these technologies? Well, I will tell you, when we started to really grow in size, you know, we realized we had to train our staff. And I looked at all the training materials that were out there for the Power Platform, and I wasn't impressed. All of it was rote memorization. All of it was out of date. All of it didn't give me what I needed to really move them forward. And so we started to create our own training. And from that, from what we've done in Insight Automation, our sister company, Insight Discovery, was born. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Certainly after this call, if anybody would like to talk about the services we provide in Insight Automation, I'd love to. But Insight Discovery was built to help you train your staff in these technologies using the same training that Insight Automation uses for our consultants here. We'll help train your staff on SharePoint and Teams and Power Automate and Dynamics, all of these tools. And the way we do it is fundamentally different than others out there. Most of the programs that are out there today, they just show you sort of a monkey see, monkey do. This is how you build things. Our training goes far beyond that. Number one, there's a live coaching aspect of this. If you sign you or your staff up for our program, they're going to get an actual coach knowledgeable in all of these technologies from the Insight Automation staff to help answer their questions and guide them along the way. We think that that's a huge differentiator. Plus, they still get a lot of pre-recorded content like you're seeing here. All of it has been heavily edited for speed. You'll notice this course I'm showing here, it's 3 minutes long. There's been lots of editing in this. Everything has already, been like, all the words are on the screen so you can jump around and find exactly what you're looking for in what we've written here. We've got this great user interface to help your staff learn as quickly and as efficiently as possible all of these tools. So now we've got two options and ways to get up to speed on all the latest and greatest in the Microsoft ecosystem: partnering with Insight Automation, as many of you have, and also bringing on some of that knowledge to your internal staff via Insight Discovery. A couple more features I'll mention in here is that, in addition to, just the training that we have across these technologies, we also have a community, so that as people are going through our materials, they can ask each other questions and figure out together, or within just your staff, the answers to the work that we provide. Last thing I'll mention on this front is, we're not just giving them the answers. We're giving them real world problems that your customers are going to be asking and giving them the path forward, but enough room to problem solve. Your staff is a staff of problem solvers, right? We don't want to just give them the answers. We want to give them enough of a grounding so that they can figure out the answers on their own, okay? And so we're teaching them how to learn, how to stay up to date, but they're always welcome to come back because we're regularly updating all of our materials. We're going to help you with going way beyond just lift and shifts in SharePoint, right? How to engage, how to really use it beyond just as a simple file system. We're going to show you how to do migrations, because we all know that box migrations are very different than doing an on-prem file server. We have a checklist to make sure that they go smoothly every time. And for just a couple grand, you can unlock all of that internally and start taking on more of these projects yourself. If anybody would like to talk more about what we provide and how all of this works, please come to our breakout room. That'd be fun. Breakout room after this. And you'll also notice right there above my head, there is a coupon code just for this program today. 20% off every single course, every single class that we sell, just for the folks that came to see our presentation today. Please feel free to reach out. We can talk specifically about what criteria you want for yours, but this is a fantastic program. It's how Insight Automation got to where it is today through all of this coursework with all of our great staff, and now it's available to you as well. And I guess I didn't need my entire 7 minutes. So there you go.
Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate it. So the polls should be going up. And funny enough, Steve, this is the one time I forgot to do the timer on the 7 minutes, but I knew Dustin from previous. He always does it at least on time, so didn't have to worry too much there.
So we got lucky.
Yeah, we did get lucky. Somebody could have just kept going. Eventually, I think I would have known, like, hey, this is past 7 minutes. But so, Steve, one of the reasons we brought you on and brought RocketMSP, as part of an acquisition, was a lot of the content you were putting out, like, that was specifically, to the MSP audience. And I wanted to kind of talk about where that's evolved into and give you the stage to talk about, the demo days thing you're doing on most Fridays when there's not an engage. And I know you're doing stack charts, spotlights on Monday. So wanted to kind of give you a stage and tell MSPs about what you're putting out as far as content that they can view.
Yeah, so I have 4 shows, 4 of them. It's a lot. Garrett and I get together every Monday and we talk about stack charts. Every week we discuss a topic. So for example, this Monday in just a few days, we're going to talk about peer groups. We'll talk about the trending peer groups. We'll talk about some buyer's guide stuff. So what should you look for in a peer group when you're ready to buy one or join one, I guess I should say. Next, I have demo days. These happen every Friday at noon Eastern, and I bring on a vendor to demo their platform while I ask them hard-hitting questions that MSPs like you want answers to. I've got a podcast called Beyond the Dashboard. The goal of Beyond the Dashboard is to help you increase your operational maturity level by teaching you about important business metrics that you should be tracking. The entire first season is live on your favorite podcast platform. I'm recording season 2 now. And finally, I have a new show launching in a few short weeks called MSP Tutor. This is going to be on Wednesdays at 11 Eastern. I'm going to have a guest with me each week to teach you how to do something that matters. In fact, we had Rob Ray on here, and he mentioned Matt Lee. Matt is my first guest, and we're going to teach MSPs how to run a tabletop incident response exercise. A lot of MSPs don't know how to do that, or maybe they don't have time, but they've never done it before, and we're going to walk them through doing it.
Yeah, and Beyond the Dashboard, you also have a guest, correct?
Yeah, every one of my shows has a guest. I liken myself to the host, not the expert, so I bring somebody else on for everything.
Yeah, and I'll give Steve credit, and it's one of the reasons I mentioned to Kevin, like, hey, we really should bring Steve on, is he does ask hard-hitting questions to the vendors, and whether they choose to answer those is a whole other question, but he does ask them those questions, and that's one of the things I appreciated about your interview skills. And the one thing I'll mention on the stack charts that you and Garrett do each week, that's all based on MSP feedback through product reviews on our platform. As many of you know, we've got almost 5,000, so you all could be part of the push to get us to 5,000. I think we're about 50 reviews away. But the stack chart conversation's happening on Monday for peer groups. And so if you're part of a peer group, I'd encourage you to give your feedback. We do give you a $10 gift card of your choice for participating in that feedback. And again, it just makes it a more robust place for MSPs to make decisions. And so definitely tune in, Steve. I think most of the time you're doing live streams on Channel Programs LinkedIn and your YouTube, correct?
Yep, LinkedIn, YouTube. I even stream it to my Facebook if any of you are friends with me on Facebook. So definitely plenty of places you can watch the shows.
Excellent. All right, so let's get into our next presenter. We've got Mr. Mark Sokol, Mark's the VP of Marketing at CyberFox, promotes cybersecurity for MSPs and IT pros, emphasizing education, tools, and software. He fosters a vibrant spirit within CyberFox, as we can see with his mascot that he's got right there, and making security both effective and enjoyable. And Mark, the stage is yours.
All right, thanks. And yeah, I think after that, I'm going to have to try a few shows of my own here. I'll get them started. So yeah, today we're going to talk about least privilege, and that essentially kind of why that we really need to focus on that. Some years ago, and we can have a little fun with this. Microsoft put out some information saying, hey, if an application has too many privileges, ultimately the network can be compromised. The attacker can get in through that. And the interesting thing about that is that was actually back in 1995 that actually started. So Microsoft's been talking about this concept of getting everybody down to least privilege for a long time. And us as providers, us as vendors, need to be aware of that. And what's really changed, right? There's a lot more now ability for attackers to get into your system, into your organization, and take advantage of that. So they continued on talking about it some years later. Hey, least privilege, yet many organizations aren't really following it. So what is that? When was that? That was about 4 years later, 1999. Well, recently, in the last year, Microsoft put it out again, said, hey, all your accounts really should have least privilege. If only one of those accounts get compromised because of that, because someone has actually privilege rights, ultimately the bad actor can get through your organization in a lateral approach and take advantage and compromise that. So really, we're talking about you need to get rid of everybody that has privilege access. Why do people have privilege access? Very common as an MSP, you're dealing with clients that have QuickBooks that constantly need to be updated. That's actually the number one. It's just the CFO has to update QuickBooks usually on a weekend. Can't get access if you have locked them down. There's a lot of ways you can lock people down, but really in the end, leveraging something that we'll talk about in a second here, you can do it a lot easier and simpler. And the reason is there's a lot of software out there that has just been badly written over the years, not taking account privilege. Some surveys here, over 5,000. Sophos actually did this survey. 77% of organizations that they were kind of connected to actually experienced a ransomware attack. They've seen a lot more attacks coming on, and they've seen actually data of their customers and themselves actually get encrypted 90% of the time. Most of those attacks there impacted the ability of that business and potentially that MSP also to actually operate, ultimately causing a loss of business, loss of revenue, and they're kind of relying on just email security and some other things to do to accommodate that. And of course, it's all throughout the news. So your customers are seeing that and what's happening. How are we going to get protected? There's other backups with cyber insurance and things like that. But ultimately, it is all over the place. And this is what really got me here. I mean, they attacked, the library system in San Francisco here. Not sure what they got out of it, but the bottom line is everybody is at risk. Everybody's at risk. So what did any of those organizations in that survey, 35% actually paid ransom. But what happened is a lot of those you see on the right-hand side, they paid the ransom, but they didn't get any data back. Some of them got some data, but the number one method ultimately was these companies had to go to backup. So depending on the backup policy that you have, hopefully it's pretty quick, but sometimes in some cases you're going back to backups from weeks or potentially. A lot of downtime and a lot of costs there. CompTIA also had some put out some information also as well, and of course these are over 500 tech professionals, and basically everybody's getting impacted. So what the true damage is on average, this is a stat that's kind of out there as well, is it takes a couple weeks to ultimately get back up and running. There's a lot of that downtime, the organization, the MSP themselves. And why is that? Ultimately, here's Oprah here giving away admin access. I do believe everybody got it. Actually did have to pay taxes that day. on getting admin access, but we don't want that. We don't want everybody to have admin access. So on your cybersecurity journey, which is always a journey, it really is this circuitous route here, ultimately to getting everybody locked down. We posit that there's a better way to go through it, a little bit more direct line, to kind of get those bad actors out there, that there's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And how do we do that? So at CyberFox, go off to the first right-hand side here is we give you the ability to get rid of those privileged users and allow them to, on time when they have to update QuickBooks, give them that opportunity to update QuickBooks just as if they had that admin access, because there's rules behind the scenes that you set. Also, your technicians need that admin access. Well, what does that mean? So we actually give you the ability to create just-in-time admin accounts. So your technician who may leave the next day will not have the ability to know a password or even what an admin account is. But then in addition to that, we're giving another layer of security here, something we call blocker, preventing living off the land attacks, and that's new. So between this combination of get rid of your end users with privilege, get rid of even your techs to have access to a privileged account, and then blocking living off the land attacks, we believe it kind of gives you this full circle in a very simple way. And of course, we also have a password manager, which ultimately you want to stop that, because it's your people that are creating, it's ultimately your people that are creating the challenges here. So you can do all the security awareness training and a whole bunch of other things, but by removing their access, by removing even some of your employees' access to standing accounts, by taking the ability to mitigate the living off the land attacks, and in our case, blocker, and then providing secure access to password, we believe that you can be more secure with CyberFox. And we got a breakout session here. I guess everybody's going in about a half an hour or so, and we do have a $150 gift card. And we can talk more about what we're doing here at CyberFox. So thanks, guys.
Excellent. 15 seconds to spare, Mark. All righty. So the polls should be going up. By the way, I featured CyberFox today in my newsletter on LinkedIn. It was just a shout out. If you follow them on LinkedIn, they come up with a really cool way to just great camaraderie among their staff and whatnot. They do a lot of fun things to create a company culture. So definitely check it out if you're looking for ideas for your own company.
That's really cool. So, Matt, I gotta say, there are so many shows out there, and a lot of the time they all revolve around things like cybersecurity or service side of things for MSPs. Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell me a little bit about a new type of show that MSPs should be checking out?
Well, Steve, I'm glad you asked this question. Not prompted at all. So we've been, people have been asking us forever, when's Channel Program going to do an in-person event? And we've really pushed back because, quite frankly, I'm not sure the industry needs a bunch of new in-person events, certainly not ones that are the same. And so that's what we went out to do, is if we're going to do this, it has to be different. And we are launching an MSP M&A growth show. Our first one will be in Chicago here on May 14th. And what's nice, obviously, we're an agnostic community, so that by itself brings a different layer to this event. This event is meant for is generally MSP owners who are either looking to sell now, mm-hmm. looking to sell potentially in the future, or really just want to understand the process, because there's a lot of things you think and you absolutely do not understand about being acquired. Something absolutely unique to this is we're having MSP roll-up companies like Data Prizes, Iron Edge, you can kind of see them right here, New Charter and Tiva. These MSPs are doing a lot of the big acquisitions in the space. We're going to have them on panels. So one, you'll get educated on the panels, but two, you'll have an opportunity to sit and do a speed dating session with multiple of these people that are going to be, of these companies that are going to be attending. So it gives you an opportunity, Steve, to ask questions that you might not know the answers to, and you may walk away from it being like, oh my gosh, we're not ready at all. Like they're actually asking us questions that we're not prepared to answer, at all. So there's that piece. But But then everything we've brought into this event is 100% education. So, we talked about PAX 8 earlier. They're going to be talking MSP mergers and acquisitions. One of the couple cool panels that I'll point out here are the couple other talk tracks that I think is really cool. Charlene's going to talk about how to really build, and sell your MSP. How do you actually market yourself to an M&A potential acquisition? Another one I think is going to be critical: 10 questions to ask before selling your MSP. But again, 100% of this event is educational. It is free for MSPs to attend. I know Claudia is putting the link in the chat. So if you want to join us, definitely join us. Steve, any other questions?
No, I just want to reiterate. One, it's in Chicago, and I think it's in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
May 14th. Yep.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of the other one. So 3 or 4 weeks then. But the most important thing is this is going to teach you about the questions you didn't know to ask. So you're just going to learn a wealth of information. We've got a fantastic rock star panel, and I'm excited for those of you that attend.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that at least 4 of the people that are attending or that are speaking on those panels from the larger roll-up MSPs, they're actual MSPs that got acquired. So they've been in your shoes, and you can talk through that experience. One session I'm really looking forward to on that panel is post-acquisition, day 2, what happens, right? Because everything is about leading up to an acquisition, but what happens on day 2? And so that's not something that's been talked about. Something I'm super excited about to bring to the table. All right, so let's go ahead, Steve. If you want to do the next introduction, we'll keep things moving along.
Yeah, our next presenter today is Tiffany Pruitt. Tiffany is the SMB sales manager at Vast Business. She is an experienced sales leader skilled in CRM, account management, and software as a service with a passion for fostering success in others. Welcome, Tiffany.
Thanks, Steve. All right. Yeah. So like Steve said, I'm Tiffany, and I'm from a Vast Business. So Vast Business, we deliver cybersecurity solutions for today's modern workplace. So we provide advanced unified endpoint and network cybersecurity solutions for small and medium businesses and their managed service providers. We are backed by one of the largest, most globally dispersed threat detection networks. So the Vast Business security portfolio makes securing, managing, and monitoring business networks easy and affordable. We have our cloud-based endpoint protection, our network security solutions, and they combine easy administration with powerful reporting, comprehensive monitoring capabilities, all to ensure that SMBs are continuously protected against the growing threat of downtime, lost revenue, and reputational damage caused by a breach. Now, we know that layered security is so important because businesses and their IT teams cannot keep track of all the possible threats. So having multiple layers of defense helps businesses prevent a single point of weakness and provides assurance that a gap in one solution will be caught by another. For decades now, businesses would simply add another security product to their stack as a threat arose. And technically speaking, this is layered security, but adding point solutions have led to high cost, gaps in security, and complex bloated security stacks. It's also really difficult to manage multiple vendors with different contracts and products with different logins and expiration dates. So like I said, we know that layered security isn't new, but until now, the execution of layered security required that combination of those point products. A Vast Business delivers those critical layers of security that all SMBs need from the cloud. We combine complete endpoint and network protection together in an easy-to-use security platform that not only provides visibility, reduces management overhead, and lowers costs, but allows businesses to rapidly deploy multiple layers of security, giving everyone peace of mind. And we're really focused on the critical layers of security. So from the data level, the cloud backup, the antivirus from the endpoint level, our patch management from the application level, and our web control for the network. So we do deliver all of this through our Vast Business Hub platform, and that's our cloud-based security platform where you can manage all of our small business solutions. We do have flexible billing. There's different kinds of device and policy management, as well as comprehensive reporting all through one portal. We also have our business APIs so that you guys can integrate our online management console with your external systems like an RMM tool. So within the Avast Business Hub platform, we do have 3 levels of security to choose from: our Essential, Premium, and Ultimate Security. All of the small business offerings that we have here, they include our core shields, which include our file shield to scan any files that's opened or downloaded to make sure it's malware free. Our web shield is going to check those URLs and certificates to make sure that they're safe before a network connection's made. Our mail shield, that's going to inspect both your incoming and outgoing emails. Our behavioral shield is going to look for that suspicious behavior and programs that are installed on the devices that may indicate malicious code. We also have our webcam shield to stop spying for good. And last but not least, our ransomware shield to stop threats from locking down devices in the field. Now, in addition to those 6 core shields, the small business offering also includes some features like cyber capture, smart scanning. There's a network inspector, a data shredder, password protection, and a lot of other ones as well. Now, when you jump up to our premium security offering, that's going to add in Secure Line VPN, as well as USB protection. And then our ultimate business security is going to add in patch management. So it's going to automate the patching process, simplify that installation and configuration, and it uses powerful automated discovery and deployment features to keep businesses safe and compliant. Now, speaking of our patch management, we also offer that as a standalone service. So if your customer only wanted the essential protection, but also wanted patch, it's completely flexible. So it can be offered, and your customers can kind of take that guesswork out of patching their Windows and third-party software applications. Another component of Avast Business Hub is our cloud backup. So you can back up your customers' files and folders and store them securely to the cloud. You can recover those files quickly from wherever you're working through our centrally managed console. And then for our MSPs and our partners, we also have a premium remote control feature. So it's going to allow you to quickly and securely connect to your customers' devices, access their files and applications, and help with troubleshooting issues in real time. And we do offer some flexible options there. So we have 1 concurrent session options or unlimited concurrent sessions. So partnering with Avast has never been business or never been better. Avast offers attractive partner discounts starting at 30% off of our standard MSRP pricing, with additional discounts provided to your customers that are government, education, or nonprofit customers. We allow our partners to be listed on our partner locator tool and be qualified to receive sales qualified leads from our sales teams. We also offer deal registration with a dedicated account manager to make sure that we're helping you win the deal. And we often have partner exclusive promotions available to help you win more business. We know the right partner matters, so we provide our partners with marketing resources to help you grow your business and 24/5 tech support. One great thing about Avast is we don't have any contracts or commitments, and we offer completely flexible solutions, so you always meet and exceed your customers' needs. And that's really it. We're going to be in the breakout room, so feel free to join us for a chance to win a $250 American Express gift card.
Excellent. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thanks, Matt.
All right.
Thanks.
Yep, of course. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got, all right, the polls are going to go up, Steve. I think we've got one more that we have one more presenter. And then just as a reminder, we'll do a final poll. So you'll give your feedback on the final vendor. Then a couple seconds after that, we'll launch a poll for the voting for best pitch or presentation. And then we'll say our goodbyes. The screen will change and you'll have options to log into all the different breakouts for the people that you're interested in having further conversations with. So yeah.
You know, to go with our M&A growth show that we're doing in just a few weeks, we have launched a new feature that we've built into Navistack. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so hopefully by now, most of you are familiar with our free tool, Navistack. I will probably share my screen here for just a second. This enables you to visualize your stack really for the first time ever. I know so many of you from conversations, visualize your stack really in an Excel spreadsheet. So now you're actually able to, identify gaps, see potentially crossover. I love that. Like, maybe you don't even know who offers XDR. You click into XDR and, pops up here are all the different, products out there. And you can, of course, do more research and you can look at the different reviews that MSPs have said. So taking it to the next level, we launched something called Navistack Pro. And what it does is it allows you the ability to manage all of your subscriptions and contracts in a single place. Steve, the idea is in its simplest form is to never miss another renewal date ever again. And I'm sure from your MSP days, I'm sure you would have loved this product back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There, so many. I think the biggest frustration for me was I was always signing up for month-to-month agreements because I was afraid to miss the renewals.
Mhm.
So now I would be willing to sign up for that 12-month or 36-month agreement if I knew exactly when I'm supposed to notify them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is a paid element of the platform. It is $99 a month, but it is does not come with contract terms. You can get discounted deals if you do a 1-year contract. But again, the idea is not only I even thought about, like, even if you're doing trials, and we've heard some of the vendors doing trials, put your trials in here and manage those subscriptions. So yeah, lots of neat things that we've got going on with that. And if you want to get more information about that, you can go onto our website and go to the Navistack section, and we can do a quick demo. That the beauty of it, Steve, is it doesn't even require much of a walkthrough. It's such a simplified product that we're offering.
And if you're already using Navistack, there's a little box that it has all of your Navistack products in there. So you just hit the little plus and you just start adding all of those products to the contract management piece of it. We've made it as easy as we could.
Yeah, and I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret for next week.
Uh-oh.
So I know Kaseya has a big announcement at Kaseya Connect, but we have an announcement too at there. Well, it's less of an announcement. We're going to show it. It's an iteration of Navistack Pro because, Steve, lots of MSPs asked us, what if I could use this for my clients? Where I could actually see into my client contracts, see who my clients are using, like a lot of them under more of like the CIO, this, what do you call it? The CIO type of level services and business
VCIO,
operations service. Yeah, VCIO, excuse me. Yeah. So there on Monday, we're going to be for the first time ever. And if you're going to be at Kaseya Connect, you can come by our booth and check it out. We'll actually show you how you can do this for your clients. So pretty excited about that. But I think without further ado, Steve, let's do our final one. And you're so good at intros, I'm gonna hand it off to you one more time.
All right, no problem. Well, hey, our last presenter of the day is Jose Alejandro Chamorro. I don't know how to roll my R's. I'm sorry. Jose is the CEO of Password Consulting and a leading expert in information security across diverse sectors with a focus on innovation and investigation. Welcome, Jose. You're on mute, sir.
Jose, you're still on mute. And don't worry, your time hasn't started yet. I think I can. There you go.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry. Yes, we are Password Consulting Services. We are a cyber security company with 50 years on experience serving to the United States and Latin America with different services: ethical hacking, security operations center, cybersecurity compliance, IT audit, and staff augmentation. Understand how to maximize the business opportunity for MSPs. ISC estimate a global shortage of 3.12 million cybersecurity professionals, with the United States facing the most significant deficit of nearly 500,000 professionals. According to FBI, the cost of cybercrime in the United States for 2023 estimated to be around $10 billion. The cybersecurity market in the United States is projected to grow by 9.65% from 2023 to 2028, resulting in a market volume of approximately $113.8 billion by 2028. What is the value proposition for MSPs in relation to our service cyber staff augmentation? Our value proposition is that we augment and expand your staff with cybersecurity professionals, of highly qualified cybersecurity professionals who simply integrate with your 60 team, bridging the skill gaps, ensuring comprehensive protection, engage involving threats, and exponentially growing your service profitability and quality. We have experience in different industries: IT, oil and gas, government, army, healthcare, experience for you. Our team, we had a Master Information Security degree, certified in SFE, CAH, CSP, a lot of certification in cybersecurity, experience IBM, experience Carbon Black, experience Splunk, more than 25 cybersecurity professionals in L2 and L3 for you. Experience in a different compliance, SOC, HIPAA, PCIs, EPCS, ISO 20001, and the new. You want to explore or innovate in quantum computer, please let me know. We have an expert in quantum computer right now. Cultural language alignment, language proficiency, English, Spanish, Portuguese, cultural compatibility, 24/7 cybersecurity coverage, data protection, compliance with the global standards. With a flexible engagement model, the customers, on the left, with a different technology, tools, process. You are the MSPs with the different platforms, tags and process. And our team is in the middle, to engage with you, to power for your team, and to make that the deliveries are good or are perfect. Please, I have the video to explain more easy this model.
Wow, I won this project. Finally, they approved my proposal. Yes! But one moment. I need 20 professionals to execute this project, certified in...
Don't worry, Password Consulting Services is here to help. You can send us your requirements through cybersecurity staff, and we will respond in less than 1 hour.
I'm safe. Let's go to infinity and beyond.
Okay, so please connect with us. We'll join our Zoom breakfast room and receive the 15 gift card. This is my contact. Please, when you have the requirements with the staff augmentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Steve, that's the first time you beat me. I think you're on the left side now. All right, so the poll's going up, and Steve, I saw you and Garrett geeking out about the word quantum computing, I think, backstage.
We were, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I want to know more. So if you guys want to know more about quantum computing and how Password Consulting can help you, maybe join their breakout room.
Exactly. All right, so a couple logistical things. So the poll's obviously going up for them right now. And right after that, we'll have the poll for the vote for best pitch and our best presentation, however you want to refer to it. There might even be a poll in terms of taking advantage of the gift card if you want to take advantage of the gift card. I could be wrong about that, but if you're interested in it, you've participated in all the polls, you can say yes to that. All right, so Steve, that was your first one, and we are going to get into a recap, by the way, of all the different incentives people are going. But Steve, I'll kind of let you chime in first. First impressions. I know you've seen an Engage, but you've never actually hosted one.
Yeah, this was fun. I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I gotta say, I like being able to bring in vendors to give us like the boiled down version of what it is they do, because a lot of times, and this isn't any of you, okay, I'm just saying, a lot of times you can get into one of these like 1 hour things where a lot of it feels like marketing fluff. So when we only give them 7 minutes, they gotta go, man. I think they did great.
Yeah, and to the MSPs watching, one of the things we tell them is, hey, cut out the fluff, cut out the BS. Like, everybody knows cybersecurity is a problem. What problem are you solving specifically? They don't. There's presentations where it makes sense to give all the examples of like real life examples of things happening, but this is really like get down to the problem you're solving. What your partner program looks like. In some cases, people will identify what their pricing structure looks like. What enablement materials do you have? And again, I think we continue to give voice to many vendors who don't have that luxury of speaking at events. It's generally a lot of the same vendors. So I think the opportunity to hear from different vendors is really, really neat. So let me go over a couple of the incentives that I'm aware of. So Insight Discovery offered 20% off coupon code for all channel program MSPs using code CPApril20. Again, you can go into their breakout for that information. Cronus is doing a promo. I don't have the exact promo that they had. Enable any of the attendees that schedule an MDR trial within 30 days, get 20 NFR licenses.
Acronis is offering a hassle-free migration to Acronis at no extra cost.
There you go. Perfect. And Avast is offering $25 gift card for joining us in our breakout, and those who join the breakout room will be entered to win a larger draw for $250. And Perimeter 81 / Checkpoint Yeti cooler. And who doesn't like a Yeti cooler?
And Perimeter 81 also has free NFRs.
There you. Oh, perfect. Yep. Thank you for mentioning that, Joe. All right, let me get the backstage information on where we are on polls. Looks like the award poll is up. And I guess, Steve, any parting words towards the end other than everybody should be filling out their Navistack at a minimum at the free tool, right?
Yeah, I don't see a reason for you to not use Navistack because one, it gives you the ability to visualize all of your tools and not just your MSP tools. You can add your QuickBooks, your Canva, all the things you use to make your business work, right?
Yeah.
And then after you're done filling out your Navistack, start adding reviews for all of those tools that you're using, because for every review, what are we giving them, Matt?
$10 gift card, and it's of your choice. So if you do five reviews, $50 gift card of your choice. I think it lets you select up to 200 different choices. So
yeah, you can do like Amazon, Target, Starbucks. There's a whole bunch of things on there. So
a whole bunch. All right, Steve, we've asked these people to stay a long time. We're about to just launch into breakouts. Again, reminder, you can go to multiple breakouts. And Steve did an awesome job. Thank you for being my co-host. And
my pleasure.
Hopefully, I will see you soon. I'll see you next month in Indianapolis.
You sure will.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you in the breakouts.